Hey there, my name is Simon, as per usual, and I'm a little bit disturbed about the shadow here, but the lighting is at least better. Yet once more today, I think. A little bit better. Still a little bit too bright on this part, but what can you do? I only am working with one lamp or two because my other ceiling lamp is lit up there just to give it it doesn't give enough light. I need more light on this side, a little bit less on this. If I just keep my hand here. Well, it's not perfect, but that's fine. I've been trying to go to school this week, but I've failed horribly because I haven't been able to get out of bed. Like I really can't do it sometimes. It's also that my sleeping schedule or my routine is very fucked up too. Like I fall asleep the slip I fall asleep I fall asleep about 6 7 in the morning AM, and it doesn't really work if you're going to go up in like 2 hours later. And after that I don't know, it takes a while before I even realize the clock is ringing. But yeah, I don't know. It's not really viable for me to do it fully right now. I simply just can't get up out of bed. It's also, I guess it's the same for everyone. Maybe I got a slight worse case of it, but I'm really not the same person when I'm half asleep, when I'm in bed. Like, I can't control my actions at all. Even though, I don't know, I don't care about consequences and stuff as much then. I know it's no serious consequences either. That's probably the problem too, that my more rational logistical brain actually kicks in then, and I know that it's probably going to be fine and sleep is more important really, but I haven't been able to get so much done school wise now because of that, and that sucks. At least I've cleaned up here a little bit. I'm going to clean up some more. Need to get the keys for the storage room so I can carry some crap down there. But yeah, I don't know when I will fix that. Sometime soon, hopefully. I've been waiting with 2 years, so maybe I just wait another year and then I move out of here. But I think I will get it done. I would like to get it done, so that's the plan. Oh, yeah, it just fucking sucks not being able to keep a normal routine. I'm, I don't know. It's very tiring being me in the sense of that I need to put so much effort to everything I do, basically. And I mean, it takes a lot of effort for me to do just these really simple things. And also, just keeping a routine is something that really is hard on me in the sense of my body just basically basically does its own thing. It actively tries to create another routine. I don't know what's the problem really. If it's something I do completely wrong, but I can keep a routine for about a week, 1.5 max, like a steady routine. And then all of a sudden it just goes to crap again. And then I have to restart. And then I won't be able to keep a routine for a few good months. Usually, at least. Usually I can't do that. It's just very annoying. It's very unfair. I also got friends, especially one friend, he can fall asleep in within 15 seconds of going to bed. That's, yeah, I would love to have that ability, but I don't. My body doesn't work that way. My mind doesn't work that way. And yeah, it's just, I'm just fighting the simplest stuff. I my life is very easy in a lot of ways that yeah, I don't really, there's not that much I need to do, really, really. But I just can't keep up with it. It's, I don't know. I'm not good at life. Life is very hard for me in a lot of senses. And I don't simply have the energy to deal with it all. I can deal with one thing at a time, but often try to take too many things at hand at the same time. Even though, yeah, I don't know. I just can't keep it up doing several things, doing all the things I need. It's also probably bad structuring and planning too, that it could be more effective. It could be more effective. There we go. But it wasn't the right word I was looking for. It was the right word, but I can't bend it properly. Is it even called bending in? I don't know. Very confusing. I haven't eaten anything today. I haven't been awake for that many hours. It's soon 6 p.m. I've pretty much done nothing today. Today I've only dished a few glasses. I've sorted some metal. I'm going to go out and recycle. Go to the, we got a recycling station and a garbage room, a trash room combined. Just it's only 25 meters from my door about. So it's very close. That's very nice. It's very nice to have a recycling station so close. I mean, everybody should have the availability. How one available. I can't fucking speak today. There's a lot of words I have such a hard time pronouncing in English. I know them well, really. I know them inside my head. But when I try to pronounce it, it just I lack the skill of doing it. I'm not used to using those words. Available, ability. And it's not a problem if I just say the standard word usually, but it's if I'm going to add, an end to it to put it in another matter. So I usually need to reform my sentences to in a way that I can actually pronounce the word correctly when I get a tongue tie or when I'm suspecting that I'm going to get one. Yeah, in periods it gets worse. Sometimes I don't have such a big problem with it, the tongue ties. I rarely have them in Swedish though. It's simply I'm not as used with pronouncing English words, so my brain just completely locks up sometimes. I guess it's also just doing the whole process of doing multiple things at the same time. I'm thinking in English right now. I think I'm thinking in English. I don't really know. Yeah, I must be. I must be. I can't really realize if I'm doing it or not, but I think I do. It's interesting. It's often I get very confused with language, even though I'm better at speaking Swedish. I'm more used to hearing English a lot of the time, and there's a lot of words that I know in English that I don't know in Swedish too, and the other way around. But I sometimes get very confused if I just heard something in Swedish or English. If I read something, for example, or yeah, it's just sometimes I can't keep track of with the language is wish to some extent. I mean, I usually can figure it out, but I basically, when it comes to comprehending them, they're about at the same level, both Swedish and English. The problem is for me is the big problem. The big problem is pronunciation and grammar in English for me. But grammar is something I'm having a little bit of trouble with in Swedish too. I is my way of building sentences isn't always the most optimal. And I realized that if I started with another word first, it would just be better structurized, but it's something that I don't realize it in ahead of time, I just realize it after I said it or after I've written it often. I don't know, I just need to read and write more, especially write more, but reading too. Just reading literature, 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 yeah. I'm not going to I'm not gonna try pronouncing it again because it will just go hopeless. It's a day of total tongue ties. Literature, literature, literary. That's a word I'm having such a hard time with too. Well, no, I'm not going to try to pronounce words I can't pronounce at the moment. It's not going to work. I don't know how long it will take for me to actually learn those words or to actually stop getting tongue ties as often because there's a few variations and a few ways words are in English that's just hard for me to pronounce correctly. And there's quite a lot of similarities between them usually, or a few similarities between a lot of them that also I get hung up on a lot. That's a lot harder for me to pronounce. It's interesting. And as I said, it might be that I'm able to say the word in one form, one grammatical form, but if I try another one and put it in like a similar sentence, the same word but in a different way, in maybe. I don't really know how to go about explaining this at all, but there's a lot of words I'm lacking in when it comes to speaking about grammar in English. It's very it's quite annoying too when you simply don't have the knowledge about talking about something. That my vocabulary doesn't exist in English in that department. That's why I need to read more and write more. Just to get those words in more easily, to actually get comfortable with them. I wonder what kind of books I should read too. It's probably like a few books that will be especially good for me to just take in the new words that would actually give me a better vocabulary that I'm lacking strongly in. But I think the right way to go about it is just find books and novels that I actually find interesting and go from there. Just read because reading is actually, I enjoy reading a lot when I find something that I enjoy reading. I'm unfortunately not one, like, I can basically watch any movie and enjoy it. It's one thing if I think it's a great movie or if it's a decent one, but I usually think my time when I usually think my time is well spent on a movie. It's rarely that I feel like, holy shit, this. Why did I watch this? The problem I also have with if I find one of those movies that I just find terrible, I usually watch the whole thing anyway. I don't know, I have a little bit of a completionistic view on some things. I realize that I like to complete some things. I like to listen to podcasts in order. I wouldn't skip forward in a book or a movie. And if I've started a movie, I'm probably going to watch the whole thing. It's more likely that I will want to watch an alright movie if I just fall asleep or something. But if I find a terrible movie, I will most likely watch the whole thing because terrible movies are impressive in their own ways. Impressing. Yeah, I find them fascinating when you find these really crappy movies like Ice Age 2012. It isn't an Ice Age movie. It's basically a crappy Day After Tomorrow ripoff done in 2012. And it's just like the worst acting and CGI I've ever experienced. It's not just the acting, it's also the fucking writing is terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's a little bit funny to enjoy, but it's also so bad that it's bad again. Like it goes full circle, maybe a few times. I don't know if it ends up on so bad it's good or just so bad it's good, but it's still so bad that it isn't good. Well, that wasn't confusing. Not at all. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna fucking try to clear up in my room completely today. Actually, have done most of it. So I have done something this week. So I've actually successfully done something productive. I'm still doing these though. They haven't been great lately. I gotta admit. Or they're up and down, but I'm not been able to improve them as much as I want. But to be fair, I've also have improved them a lot. I fixed the lighting a lot better. It's a lot better lighting than before. And I've actually fixed the audio sync so it's not perfect, but it's a lot better. It's also, I don't really know how to fix it because it's so off with the sync simply. with the frame rate of the camera. It's very hard for me to detect the right frame. It's a tedious process for me to actually try it too. It's not like when I'm editing, I would be able to fix it within a minute. But the thing is that I'm not editing now. I need to go into the settings, change settings in OBS, change the delay, start recording, do some few tests, do maybe a clap, talk a little bit, then stop the recording, watch that recording, see if it's better or worse, then go into the settings again, adjust the delay of the audio in milliseconds, apply settings, start video, do some tests, stop, watch it. I mean, it's just a very tedious and like etc. until good results. And it's just a very tedious and monotonous job that can't be done that well. It can be done well, but it's just so fucking tedious I can't even bother because it might not even get a lot better from doing it. I'm happy with it now at least. But I don't know, I'm just not happy with my results this far with my English progress. I've been stagnating a little bit. I haven't been reading enough lately. Or I did actually read at least the academic text this week too. That wasn't a lot. It was like 20 pages or something. Not too bad. It took a while though, because academic text takes a lot of time for me to go through, especially if I want to understand them fully or as best as possible. And sometimes I can't understand anything of them because I don't find the text engaging. I'm not engaged or interested in it. And then it's fucking screwed. Like, then I can just read through it the whole and just hope that I find a glimpse of something that I find interesting. But it feels so wasteful reading like 10 pages or more of something, of this dense fucking text. And you don't get anything out of it. You're reading it, but you're not getting any viable information, any interesting information from the text. But yeah, it's probably worse with the dyslexia and ADHD. It doesn't help the situation, for sure. It will make things a lot worse. I don't know what happens then. I know similar things happens to everyone, but I think I just have a worse case of that. Find it very strange about diagnosis too. Like, I'm identifying with my diagnosis quite a lot, but at the same time I try not to. It's very complex because diagnoses are such a strange thing. If you have a few, like 5 out of 7 traits, you are able to get diagnosed with something. It depends on how many traits it is per diagnose. But it's just very strange to get labeled with a lot of people to like being dyslexic or having ADHD, especially when every scenario is so different. But there's for sure a lot of similarities with them, but I don't know. I just think it's a very absurd thing because we don't know that much about the diagnosis yet. Like, it's a very unclear thing now. We got them, but the research into them and the knowledge about the whole how the human brain works is we don't have enough information yet. Simply, it just feels a little bit ham-fisted to some extent. It helps a lot that we have them at all, but I think it's such a typical human behavior to label things just for the sake of it when things are more complex that label persons you never talk to, label. It's just a lot of labeling as a human being to just make things simpler for our minds, to just put things in boxes in different categories. I don't know. I just find it very interesting. I'm also probably blah 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 probably getting a lot of tongue ties because I haven't spoken a lot to people this week. It haven't been a lot, and I know that when I'm isolated for a long amounts of time, I it's harder to speak. It's just interesting how the ability to speak goes away very fast, or the natural flow of speaking disappears very fast. I guess a lot of people maybe feel like that all the time. I have it to some extent, but I mean, some people must feel that feeling constantly. That they, for me, it's something I need to maintain my speaking ability to keep it up to as good, a good ceiling, a good level as possible. But I guess that other people's mine isn't like the best overall either. I'm not. I'm very good at speaking in some ways, but I'm also terrible at speaking in others. I don't know. It's just I just I don't know. I don't know what my point with that was. My mean, and it's something I'm very uncertain about and not happy with. But I don't really know what the criticism of myself is. I just know that I want to get better, and that's for sure. And I like seeing progress a lot. It's very frustrating when I stagnate in progress, because that will happen a lot. I find progress in spurts. Sometimes I will be able to progress a lot really fast. And then after a while it dies down. I don't know what happens if I just reach like a lot of skill a skill ceiling that's a lot higher or steeper rather, that the learning curve gets a lot steeper with stuff just randomly, or if it's my mentality on the thing that changes after a while. If I see a lot of progress after a while, maybe I try too much. I lose sight of actually. I try to achieve progress for the sake of progress rather than improving. Really, do you get my point? Like that. Yeah, the progress and sake of progress instead of improving myself and getting better at something. I just want the better result sometimes. I think that's something a way I might be might be looking at things, but maybe it's just a theory that isn't correct at all. But I think it got some truth to it, but it's probably not that simple either. I probably have a more unique stance on it, or it's simply like, as I said, learning curves. And sometimes we got different hormonal levels in our body, the body chemistry, the chemistry in our brains, our feelings, and there's a lot of stuff that possibly can affect how much you progress in something. But I don't like stagnating or getting worse. It's especially if it's something I'm trying to improve on. I don't think it's that often that I actually drop at being good at something yet. If I haven't done it in a very long time, then of course I will see like muscles. If you don't actually exercise and break the muscles down so they can build up again, if you don't actually give them any work, they will also disappear. I guess a lot of skills are that way too. You need to maintain them, but then there's also like riding a bike. When you can it will get back to you really fast. But I think it also depends on the level, on how much you've done that up to that point, on how fast it can be like learning or riding a bike. But I've actually heard of an instance that a girl, uh, I can't remember, it was some YouTube video, but she said that she thinks that she's forgotten how to ride a bike, so I mean, it's probably possible to do, but it's the same thing. I can't ski anymore, but I've never been a great skier, but I could ski when I was younger and I can't anymore. But I haven't tried in many, many years either, so maybe I will be able to learn again. It's something I want to learn again, but I'm not great at snowboarding either. I just learned that a few years ago and haven't done it many times. Like 3 times, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Improvement in life is hard. It's hard for me to keep track on what's important or not important, but just fucking focus on the right things. I don't know what I should do to just keep my life on track. I don't have the capability of doing that. I don't got the knowledge. I don't know what I'm supposed to focus on. How I should achieve the fact of just be able to taking care of myself. I don't know the steps to it because after a while I just get overwhelmed and then I'm back at square zero basically. I think I just get slightly better every time, but it's still if you go two steps forward and like 1.9 step back, I mean, it's such a small progress that it's very monotonous again, as I was speaking about the audio delay. It's very monotonous work. And I guess that's how life is. It is a struggle that you need to improve slightly step by step. You can't fix your entire life just like that, but I've been trying for yeah, my whole life, but especially the last 11 years. I really thought when I was 10 that, I mean, I thought, or somewhere around, or at least when I was 14, I thought that I would be able to figure stuff out by now, but I really haven't. But I'm still young, I'm only 22, so I got a lot of time left to fix things, to improve. And I'm not even completely grown yet. I'm like my brain isn't even fully developed most likely yet. Neither my body. So, yeah, I have a few years left until my body starts deteriorating to actually get worse. Now it's still developing, so and then I will start aging for real. But aging isn't all that bad. I mean, your body deteriorates, and but you can keep a great shape until you're very old too. But it depends on how you're treating your body too. But at least knowledge doesn't disappear. We can keep a lot of knowledge for a long time, so I'm happy about that. Learn a lot of new experiences too. So I'm not that afraid of aging, really. I'm more what I'm more afraid of is just like I'm sad about all the things I've missed out on not having a normal life. I mean everybody misses out on something, but I for sure feel like I've missed out on a lot more things than the average person, but I'm not having the worst life either by any stretch of the imagination. Like at least today I feel that my life is manageable and that even though it's hard, I still make some progress instead of being in this total deep fucking hole in my life where everything feels useless. I at least got some hope left, some strength to keep on, and I mean, I just need to be happy about that, really. Appreciate that. That's probably a decent way to get my life on track is just appreciating the good things about it. But yeah, life's a fucking struggle, and then you die. Yeah, it's I don't know, but it's also the charm of it. You only live once. You only have this opportunity, and nothing really matters. So I mean, it sounds so depressing saying it that way, but that really is my views. Even if they sound pessimistic, it's a very optimistic view for me, really, because I'm fine with things being that way. I don't see it as a negative, really. I find it more as a get out of jail card. The death is, yeah, it's just after you die, you're dead. You don't need to worry about things then. And I will die sooner or later, so I might as well wait. Whenever how much pain I go through, how much suffering. I just really hope I will never get tortured. Like, holy shit, that just seems like the worst fucking way to go out. Being tortured to death. Well, I never know. Not many people die by torture if you look at the overall chances by dying by torture, but there's a lot of people dying by torture too, if you think. Like one that someone is probably being tortured to death right now, probably multiple people is for sure too many. And yeah, I'm really feeling for them. Even though I can't comprehend the experience either, I mean, it's something you really can't comprehend, really. Like the worst I've experienced quite a lot of pain, but no insane amount. Broke my arm once, for example, but I've also experienced a fair amount of pain, but that, like, people using that towards you and until you die, it's just Oh no, I find torture very interesting, like at least medieval torture, especially. But it's a fucking horrible thing, and it sucks that it exists. But I find it fascinating and horrible. Very, a lot of cognitive dissonance about the thing. Divided opinions. Well, that's it. 40 minutes of this. I think I've started to get up the tempo towards the end at least. It takes a while sometimes to get into the mindset of actually just opening up the consciousness and actually be able to transfer your thoughts into words and opinions, or your opinions and thoughts into words and sentences in a different language too. I don't know, I almost doesn't want to refer English as a different language either. I mean, Swedish is the one I learned the first, but the more languages you can, the better. I really want to learn a third one too. Just get started at the third one and perfect the English meanwhile, but it's very hard to find the opening of learning a new language. I picked up some Thai, a little bit of Japanese, but a little bit Spanish, but that's basically completely gone now. But yeah, I don't know. I would like to find a girlfriend or something that speaks another language than I do. I think that would be a great opportunity of learning a new language. Where's the friend who? But I don't. I don't know. I just really want to learn a third language, but I don't have no idea what it would be, or rather how I would achieve it. English, I have video games, books, TV, music. Like my whole life been filled since I was born with just the English language and culture from America and Britain and some Australia even, and it's just something that come very natural to me speaking English. It's something I've always enjoyed. I've always enjoyed getting better at it because it enables me to take in so much more information about the world and understand the world so much better, especially just speaking two languages. There's so often I can make connections between English and Swedish, and also realize a lot of different cultural things, just how we use the languages and stuff like that. That just gives me. It's very nice. It's a lot of knowledge you can get out of just speaking multiple languages. So the more the merrier, I guess. And I think at least I'm not happy with just being able to speak two languages too. I don't know. Three is it's something about being able to speak three languages or more. Two languages, not that impressive. Three, pretty impressive. Not that I should care about that too much, but I don't know. I like to be better at things, to feel that I have some talent in some stuff. But yeah, it's just probably the slight bit of narcissism. I suspect that I have a few traits of. I'm definitely a little bit narcissistic, but not too bad at all. Not yet. It might come with age, maybe with success or failure. I don't know. Oh, the future is so fucking strange. Well, I hope I won't die soon, at least. That's one thing I'm not afraid of death, really, but I really don't want to die this young. And hopefully I won't, but that might change. Maybe I want to die young, too. I mean, horrible stuff can change, and as I said, dying is a kind of way out of things, but I don't know. It would lie great to have a wonderful and prosperous life until I'm 50 or 60 at least. When you're 55 plus, I think it's an alright time to go out at least. But even that's too young, but I think I would be happy if I lived just that long. But if I apply that to my mother, it's not a forecast I enjoy because it's not that many years left until she's 50, 55. Very strange. Well, yeah, that's it. I don't have anything to add. And that's probably for the best because I've been going on for soon 47 minutes. Well, it's a nice amount of time to just get things off my chest and hopefully improving my English and my mental health ever so slightly. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. And that's all. Have a good day. I'm I'm just starting mine, so hopefully I will have a good one. That's it. Bye bye. Take care. I love you.